What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I'm Tommy. We got Alex here to my left. Today we're here with the fill-in AD for the time, Mr. Conran. Mr. Conran had a pass here with the assistant athletic director, and he was a volleyball coach. He went to Upper Dublin High School where he wrestled, and his last ever wrestling game or match was against Methacton, where he lost. So his last ever wrestling match was a loss.
You guys knew this information.
We did our research.
Oh, man.
So starting with the AD, what's your favorite role being the AD?
Going to the events is the best part of being the AD.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Going to the events is the best part of being the AD. You get to see all the sports. I like coaching, but as AD, you get to go to everything. You get to see the kids play and excel. Yeah, obviously, sometimes they lose, but that's the best part by far.
How tough? Wow. How long have you been helping here at Methacton?
I've been at Methacton 7 years, I think. 7 or 8 years. As a teacher, as a social studies teacher, and then in the past couple of years, I've been filling in as an assistant principal, as a supervisor of special ed, and now as the athletic director.
And what do you plan to do after in January?
Go back to my classroom where I can teach.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
a lot less stressful.
So Mrs. Parker, she was here for the start of the year. She's on maternity leave, and she did some things. What did she help with to set you off going well?
She's very organized. So, schedules are all set up. Timelines for major events like football, all that stuff she has templates for and things like that. So she was able to just kind of pass all that stuff along to me, and then I kind of just fill in the blanks, based on the week or the event. So her organization was awesome. It was extremely helpful.
How was your experience as a volleyball coach? Are you still doing it?
It was good. No. I'm not doing that anymore. Last year was my last year coaching. I enjoyed it. I played in high school. That was a while ago. But I enjoyed coaching. It was fun. It was JV, so it was not the stress of being the varsity coach or the head of the program. But I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's challenges along the way. What are the biggest challenges with this role?
For athletic director?
Yeah.
Everybody wants something, typically. So, and we have good coaches here. So a good coach thinks that their program is the most important. So having to tell people no on different things is probably the most challenging. Whether it's a budgetary reason or just like operationally we can't do something, that can kind of be a challenge with kind of everybody wanting field space or everybody wanting different whether it's technology or equipment or whatever it may be. Having to say no to people is definitely a challenge because you have to have a reason why, and they don't always like that.
Yeah. So with that, if you had unlimited funds, what is the first thing you would update?
If I had unlimited funds,
Add another field?
I would probably try and add another field. I'd extend the bleachers for the football stadium.
Yeah.
On both sides because the visitor side's pretty tight too. And then upgrade some of the fields. Like JV baseball is kind of a rough field. JV softball even is kind of rough too. So some updates there so that they function a little bit better than they do now.
Yeah. You're watching a lot of sports here. If you got time at home, like what's your go-to sport you're going to watch? And team?
It'd be the Eagles football.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my go-to.
All right.
What is your approach to our student section in terms of, handling them?
For the most part, you guys are good. Like there's minimal issues. You guys got away with some baby powder the one game, but that's if that's the worst thing that happens, you guys incite, that's not terrible. So as long as you guys aren't cursing, then you guys are usually fine.
I'm not sure that was the worst thing that happened that game.
Well, we're not going to talk about that part, but you guys did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, we've noticed that teams in the Pac are like moving from Liberty to Frontier. So why are teams deciding to, or I don't know if it's their choice, but why are teams moving side to side?
That's a good question, and I think it has to do with kind of they move to a competitive balance formula for playoffs. So they're trying to have the most competitive playoff teams in the Pac Final Four, and that's a work in progress too. I know that they're working on. This is the first year of them kind of going through a different way. And again, me being new, I don't fully know.
Gotcha.
I can't fully answer that question. I just don't know.
Right, and that's, I think, what a lot of people are thinking, because you look at football and you've got Norristown, Boyertown, and Methacton all there with, who aren't doing too well, while up top you've got, Springford, Brick Valley, OJR.
Yeah.
Wait, before you go,
Yeah.
do you know if it's per sport, or is it just does Methacton stay, or is it every sport?
I think it's per sport.
Okay.
But it's not school size, right? It's the team?
Yes, that's what kind of gets it a little bit confusing.
Gotcha.
It's kind of based on the team. And
So, like, for example, Upper Park moved, I believe, in field hockey for, I think, Norristown, but
right, they might not necessarily move in football.
yes.
Okay. Let's see, where are we at?
What do you guys discuss at your athletic director meetings? So, like, I can be, is that something that you guys go through and, you're trying to advocate?
Yeah, so it can be that. I've only been to one. They're monthly meetings. So this month was my first one, but there could be a variety of topics if we want to add a new sport, if we want to go to some new system of how to determine playoffs, right? So it could be a variety of different things that are discussed at the directors' meetings. And then, if someone's having an issue with I don't know, with any program they're running, they may pose a question to the group, how do you guys handle X situation and stuff like that.
So if you can, what did you think was one of the most interesting things that came up
in the meeting?
Yeah.
One thing that was brought up was girls, and I can say this because it's like public knowledge, but girls, their PIW is looking at potentially doing girls flag football starting 2026. So that was a little bit of a discussion, but there's more to come on that. It's very new, so no one's exactly sure how it works and things like that.
You would be in support of that?
I don't know if I have a vote yet. I don't know if I get that vote. So that's above my pay grade for sure.
They just got added flag football to the Olympics coming up in 2028.
Wow. Yes.
Did not know that. Speaking of updates, you're just talking about some things. We got the new press box. It's updated now. What have you seen implemented like over the years that just they make sense?
Like things that we've done.
Yeah.
So, for example, Miss Parker discussed the banner at the tennis courts when we talked to her.
Oh, you talked to all right.
Yeah, before she
all right, cool. So things we've done, and even not that recently, when they redid the gym floor, we looked at different designs and colors and things like that. That's probably older now. I guess that was when I first started here. They did that. They did the banner outside the bus garage, so you're not just staring at buses as you're walking in. It's kind of like a sports mural-ish. What other improvements I've seen? It's not good if I can't come up with one. They started allowing, just in general, teams to hang banners if they've gotten sponsor money and stuff like that from local businesses. So, for example, field hockey has a banner that they put up for their games that kind of thanks their sponsors. So things like that we haven't been able to do in the past has been allowed in recent years.
Who is they? The school district?
Yeah, just different rules that they've had for whatever reason. They've kind of allowed different things to happen.
Looking at teams as they do well, just looking at a team, if they keep doing well, do they get anything like as a reward or?
As a reward? Well, just the bragging rights that you're the best, I guess.
Right.
So, like you talking about, like if you were to happen to be on the baseball team and win a Pac championship kind of thing?
Nothing towards me or anything.
So usually, for example, tennis won PAX this year, so they'll get recognized at the school board meeting in October. And say other than that, obviously if you're the best ever, you get your picture, the team picture up on the wall and things like that. Sometimes there's money allocated for either banners or gear or something like that says PAC champs or district champs and things of that nature. Yeah. You don't get a day off of school though for it.
When you have a game like yesterday's, what was yesterday? The 9th of October, field hockey senior night, where the parents are starting to get loud. What are you doing to keep things calm?
Great question. That's probably one of the more challenging parts of the job. So most people are reasonable, and sometimes if I just stand there, it'll be fine. Sometimes it's not. You just have to talk. You explain that it is just a high school game, and that at the end of the day, it's not. It doesn't put someone on a trajectory of life, just one game. And usually, when you remind them of either you need to set a better example or it's just a high school game, they usually start to settle down. And then people want to typically tell you what the issue is. And it's important in any position, whether you're an athletic director or assistant principal or even a teacher, just to be calm and let them tell you what their issue is, or whether it's perceived or real, right? I'm not accusing any of the parents of doing anything. And usually once you listen to them and you let them know that you will handle the situation and it'll be addressed, they're usually fine after that. Sometimes they might want to go over your head, but you cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah. AD, it seems like a lot of hours worked. We see you at the football games, at the field hockey games. You're there all the time. Do you have to go to all the games that you can, or how does that work?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We also have a game manager, which I was before the AD, so we're out that position at the moment. So usually between you and the game manager, you kind of have the games covered. I have 3 little kids. I also live very close, so they're able to come up and hang out during, not football because it's just chaos and you're, there's a lot going on. So I try and be at all the games. If I'm not, I make sure that either one of the assistant principals goes, or if the principal's able to go, she may go. But usually, Mr. Bontempo will cover a game if I can't be there for whatever reason.
How did you figure out that there was a problem yesterday at the field hockey game? Were you called over, or you just driving around?
Usually I get a phone call. Okay. Either from, if I'm not, so the situation yesterday, we had 2 events going on, 2 senior nights going on. And I was there for most of that field hockey game, and it wasn't really a problem. So I went in, and then I got a call, and then I went back out to see what was going on. And it didn't seem super out of control. And I kind of hung out and then kind of stood between the 2. And, they all.
That seemed to do the job, yeah.
Yeah, and it ended up fine.
How do you decide, when the teams get practice? So, for example, boys and girls soccer are both using the aux field. How are you or maybe Miss Parker deciding that?
That is a challenge. Now, we're lucky where the girls coach wants to practice at night, and the boys coach wants to, so when you have that and it works out where you end up having a night practice and an afternoon practice and coaches agree on it, then you don't have an issue. The problem is when you have when everyone wants the same time and you have to come up with a schedule, and how I would do it, and I haven't had to, Taylor's done that already, but you just come up with a schedule where certain days of the week they're after school, certain days of the week they're at night. We also have the grass field available too, so if someone didn't want to practice at night, you can kind of split them and push them up to the grass field and kind of swap like that. But we are fortunate, so boys and girls basketball is the same way, where Coach Lockhard's a teacher, so naturally after school makes sense for him. Coach Kaminsky is not a teacher, so after school, he has a I was going to say a real job that makes teachers not doing a real job. He has a job that's not a teacher, so he can't get out until 4 or 5 o'clock. So they practice at night. So we've kind of gotten fortunate with that. Spring gets a little tricky though because you have a lot of sports going on those fields specifically.
And then for field hockey and football, how do you decide that?
So football is pretty good. They practice most times. They practice down below the football field. It's lined in the outfield of the JV field for a football field, and they are pretty much content being down there for most practices. Walkthroughs, they'll come up on the football field, and that's the only time they really ask for that. But field hockey also typically practices later.
Is that how it was previously? Because I heard football caused a lot of the problems.
So, man, you're really putting me.
No, yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. Unbelievable. So for the past couple of years, it's been fine.
Okay.
They've kind of practiced down there, and they can do what they need to do down there, so they don't really have.
There you go.
When it rains or when it's like thundering out, that's when you really have the issue. Gym space.
Earlier we talked about just the grass field that's always open. You go to some of the other schools and they have their fields open at all times, like a school like Downingtown or I don't know, certain schools I've been to that have their facilities always open. Why is ours always gated off? Football field and baseball field, just some of the fields.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I have an answer to that one. Probably we spend a lot of money on the fields. Turf fields, obviously turf is expensive to put in. You don't want people messing around with it too much. Now, obviously, community programs and stuff like that or travel teams will come in and use it. Baseball, we take a lot of time to kind of take care of those fields as well. Same with softball. So I think it's more of like, not that we want to exclude people from using it, but we also want to make sure that they're not being ruined and they're ready for our school teams to use when we need to use them.
Did Miss Parker give you the Instagram and Twitter, or is she still doing that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't have it. I have the Twitter.
Okay, so you're
from
posting.
Time to time.
Okay.
I need to be better at posting, but I do have the Twitter. I probably have logins for the Instagram somewhere in the office.
Yeah. Let's see.
Do you guys schedule officials, or is that how does that work?
So you put in for officials, and then the scheduler will add them to your events. There's been a shortage of PIAA officials too, so sometimes it can be challenging to get officials at different events.
We got a good student section, what I thought, at the pink out volleyball game.
I agree.
How awesome was that for a sport that not all sports have the opportunity to play in front of students? How awesome was that to see?
It was great. I think the girls really liked it. The team definitely enjoyed it. It was a tough match. It was PJP, right?
Yeah,
they were very good.
They were good.
So that's always a tough match. But the girls definitely enjoyed it. It is cool to see that with sports that where typically students don't come out in large numbers. So that is always nice, and you guys did a nice job.
Mr. Conran, thank you. Took the role good, and you did. I thought it was a great interview. Good podcast.
Yeah, good luck until January?
Till January, yep.
All right.
So let's just keep the Warriors going in the right direction.
That's right. We'll see how basketball section does.
Yeah, basketball should be good. Team should be good. Get good student section there, and yeah. Thank you, Mr. Conran.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.